Someone built a free tool that rebuilds almost any website with a single command. It has over 20,000 stars on GitHub. You point it at a URL, you type /clone website, and an AI agent goes to work. It takes screenshots, it pulls the fonts and the colors, and it writes you a clean, modern code base from scratch. It honestly looks like magic. But there is a part almost nobody talks about: the line between using this brilliantly and using it in a way that gets you sued. So let's break down exactly how it works and the right way to actually use it. First, what this actually is, because the name sounds a little scary. It's called the AI Website Cloner Template. And the key word there is template. It is not a shady scraper that rips a site and hands you a copy of its files. It is a starting point on GitHub that turns your AI coding agent into a reverse engineering machine. The recommended setup is Claude Code, but it also works with Cursor, Copilot, Gemini, and about a dozen other agents. Now, here is the difference that matters. A scraper copies files. This one rebuilds. It studies how a page is put together, and then it writes brand new code that recreates it in a clean modern stack that you own. Think of it less like photocopying a painting and more like a student sitting in a gallery, studying the brushwork and learning to paint it themselves. And that brings us to the part you need to hear before you ever touch this. Because a tool this powerful has two doors. Behind the first door is trouble: cloning a competitor's website and passing their design off as your own, copying logos, brand assets, or original writing that belongs to someone else, scraping a site whose terms of service say do not, or, worst of all, impersonating a brand to trick people. The project's own README says it plainly. It must not be used for deceptive purposes, impersonation, or any activity that breaks the law. Behind the second door is where this tool earns its stars. You own a website that is stuck on some old platform and you want it rebuilt on a modern one. Or your site is still live but the source code is gone, the developer left, and you need it back. Or you simply want to learn by taking apart how a great site actually works. Same exact tool. So here is the line to remember: the tool isn't the risk. What you point it at is stay behind that second door, and this becomes one of the most useful things you can run. So, how does it actually pull this off? When you run the command, it kicks off a 5-phase pipeline. And this is the part that is genuinely clever. Phase 1 is reconnaissance. The agent opens the site in a real browser and looks at it the way a person would. It takes screenshots. It extracts the design tokens, the exact fonts, the colors, the spacing. And it runs an interaction sweep, scrolling, clicking, hovering, and checking how the layout changes on mobile versus desktop. Phase 2 is the foundation. Before it builds a single section, it lays the groundwork. It writes in the real fonts, the real color palette, and the global styles, and it downloads every asset the site uses: the images, the videos, the icons. Now, the project already has a skeleton that feels like the original. Phase 3 is where most tools would fall apart and where this one gets serious. For every section of the page, the agent writes a detailed spec file, not a vague description. The exact computed CSS values, the different states a button can be in, the behaviors, and the real content. As the README puts it, the builders get all of this handed to them in line with, quote, no guessing. Phase 4 is the one that makes engineers smile. Instead of building the whole page one slow piece at a time, it dispatches a team of builder agents, each working in its own isolated Git work tree, one agent per section. The header, the hero, the footer, all being rebuilt in parallel at the very same time. And phase 5 brings it all home. It merges every worktree back together, wires the sections into one finished page, and then it runs a visual diff, comparing its rebuild against the original, side by side, to see how close it got. Reconnaissance Foundation, specs, parallel build, and a final quality check. That is the whole machine. And what you are left with matters just as much as how you got there. This does not hand you a pile of tangled spaghetti code that nobody can maintain. It builds on a clean modern stack. Next.js 16 running React 19. TypeScript in strict mode. Shad C NUI components sitting on top of Tailwind version 4. This is the same kind of stack a senior team would actually choose in 2026, which means the result isn't a dead end. It is a real code base that you can read, change, and ship. Now, here is how little it takes to start. Step 1. On the GitHub page, you click Use this template and make your own copy. You do not clone the original repo directly. Step 2. You open your new copy and run npm install. Step 3. You start Claude Code with the Chrome flag so the agent can actually see the browser. And step 4. You type /clone website and paste in your link. You can even pass several links at once in a single command. That is it. From there, the pipeline takes over and you customize whatever you want once it is done. Now, let me be straight with you, because that is the whole point of this channel. This is not a magic button. AI still gets details wrong, which is exactly why Phase 5 does a visual comparison instead of just trusting itself. You will still need to clean things up and make the site genuinely yours. And the legal part is on you, not on the tool. If a site's terms say no, that is a no. But used honestly on your own projects, this collapses days of tedious rebuilding into a single command. And that is genuinely worth understanding. So, if this was useful, here is how to go deeper. Subscribe on YouTube and follow along on Instagram and Facebook too, because that is where these breakdowns drop first. And if you want to support the channel and get even more out of it, the channel membership on YouTube is the best way to do that. If you want my hands on guides for getting the most out of Cloud Code and building real things with AI, the links are waiting for you down in the description. One last thing, comment the word reverse on this video and I will send you a free website cloner playbook. It has got the safe use checklist, the full pipeline cheat sheet, and the exact setup commands, all in one PDF. Now go build something the right way.